I bought my dad a brand new truck for his 60th birthday. At dinner, he raised his glass and said, "To my idiot daughter trying to buy love with money." Everyone laughed. I just stood up, smiled, and left without a word. The next morning, his driveway was empty. And my phone exploded with 88 missed calls. I'm not the kind of person who expects a standing ovation for doing something nice, especially not when it comes to family. But when I surprised my dad with a brand new truck for his 60th birthday, a fully loaded Ram 1500 he'd been obsessing over for months, I didn't expect him to toast to my stupidity in front of 14 people. He looked right at me, glass raised, and said it like it was a joke he'd been dying to share. "To my idiot daughter trying to buy love with money." There was laughter. Real, loud, unfiltered laughter. Some people looked confused, maybe uncomfortable, but no one said a word to stop it. No one defended me. Erin giggled like she thought it was adorable. Lacey smirked. Even his friend Doug, who once told me I reminded him of his niece, the smart one in the family, didn't say anything. I just stood up, smiled like nothing happened, walked out through the kitchen and drove home in total silence. What nobody knew was that truck had cost me more than just money. I work in finance, but not the sexy kind. The real kind. Spreadsheets, 60-hour weeks, projects that eat your weekends. I'd been putting aside money for over 2 years. Skipping takeout, saying no to new clothes, staying in while my friends went on trips. I'd even canceled my gym membership for 6 months and worked out at home just to save more. I knew I wouldn't get some dramatic movie hug out of it, but I also didn't expect to be publicly humiliated like that. It wasn't the first time either. My dad has always had a talent for turning love into something transactional. Growing up, I was never good enough in the ways that seemed to matter to him. I was smart, I got into a great college, got a solid job, but it was never Erin perfect. Erin was the golden child. Personal trainer, social media fitspo queen, tiny waist, perfect smile. When we were kids, he once made me take Erin's school picture out of my wallet because it made me look jealous. The weight thing? It was always there, in every comment, every birthday dinner where he ordered salad for me without asking. He said it was out of love. Lacey once told me he just worries about your health. Except he didn't worry, he judged. He measured. When I was 21, he told me no man would love me unless I got under 150. That number stuck with me for years like a curse. So when I saved up and bought that truck, the exact color, trim, even the silly seat cooling feature he raved about, I wasn't buying love. I was proving that I could give something to him that he never gave to me. Generosity without conditions. But I should have known better. That night I didn't cry. I wish I could say I did, but I just sat in my apartment staring at nothing. Something clicked off inside me. I felt like a fool, but I also felt strangely calm. Like I'd finally hit the last stop on a long ride I never wanted to be on in the first place. The next morning I checked the paperwork. The dealership had registered the truck to me, but I hadn't transferred the title yet. Legally it was still mine. I called the manager and explained the situation. He remembered me. Said if I brought it back quickly and it was still clean, they could reverse the paperwork and list it as a showroom demo. I'd get most of my money back. So I drove over to his house around 6:15 the next morning. The neighborhood was still asleep. His sprinklers were running. The red bow was still on the hood, wilting from dew. I unlocked the door with the second key, the one I kept in my glove box, started the engine and backed out of the driveway without a single soul watching. By the time I made it back to my place, my phone had exploded with notifications. 28 missed calls. A few voicemails, but I didn't listen to them. I just sat on the edge of my bed holding the phone like it belonged to someone else. There were texts from Erin. "Why would you do that? Are you seriously that petty?" "He's freaking out. Like actually losing it. Call me." Lacey sent one too. Just 3 words. "You hurt him." But none of them asked how I felt. And my dad? He left a voicemail saying I embarrassed him in front of his people. Like this was some kind of business transaction gone wrong. That was the beginning of the unraveling. He had no idea how fast things were about to shore. FT. I didn't return a single call that day. Not his, not Erin's, not Lacey's. I left my phone buzzing on the counter and drove straight to the gym. That had quietly become my thing in the months leading up to his birthday. Showing up, no announcements, no gym selfies, no grand declarations. Just work. My therapist once said that sometimes you don't change to prove something to others. You do it so you don't keep hating yourself every time you see your own reflection. That one hit harder than I admitted. I stayed for 2 hours. I wasn't even doing anything special. Treadmill. Machines. Just moving until the noise in my head settled. When I finally checked my phone, there were more missed calls than before. 37 now. 1 voicemail from Erin, 3 from my dad and 2 from Lacey. A couple of texts. One from Erin just said, "So dramatic, seriously. It was a joke. Grow up." That was her version of comfort, I guess. Another from Lacey. "You embarrassed him. Please call me." But none of them asked how I was. None of them said sorry. The one voicemail from my dad I did listen to was just him pacing around some point between angry and condescending. He said I was overreacting, that it was a harmless joke, and that people laughed because it was funny. Then he added something that stopped me cold. If you're gonna be this sensitive, maybe don't come around anymore. I stared at the wall for a full minute before deleting it. What he didn't know, what none of them knew, was that this wasn't about one toast. It wasn't about the truck either. It was about years of comments like that. Years of being told I was too sensitive, too heavy, too plain, too serious, too dramatic, not enough of this, too much of that. Every time I tried to get close, he found a way to make me feel like an obligation. Like my job was to either laugh at myself or stay quiet. He called me his big girl since I was 12. When I begged him to stop, he rolled his eyes. At 17, when I showed him my prom dress, he asked if I was sure I didn't want to try something more flattering. I went alone that year, not because I didn't have options, but because I couldn't bear the thought of him seeing me in that dress and thinking she really believes she looks good. I sat with all of that in my apartment that night, eating cold leftovers in silence, realizing this was probably it. Not just a fight. A shift. Before and after. The next morning I opened Instagram. I shouldn't have, but I did. Erin had posted a photo of Dad standing beside the now empty driveway, mug in hand, looking pissed. Her caption read, "Still waiting for my truck," with a crying laugh emoji. People commented things like, "Oh, Miss Savage," and "Tell her to bring it back." Someone even wrote, "Hope she kept the receipt." I took a screenshot. Then I blocked her. Done. That's when I called my therapist. We'd started weekly sessions after last Christmas. The one where my dad told everyone at dinner that he hoped Erin would help me get it together this year. She'd laughed and said, "She's doing her best, Dad." He shrugged. I excused myself to the bathroom and sat on the tub for 20 minutes trying not to throw up. This time I told her everything. The toast. The voicemail. The Instagram post. He asked me what I wanted. I told her I wanted to disappear from that version of my life. She said, "Then do it." I thought about it for the rest of the day. Then that night I drafted an email. Not to my dad, I knew what he'd do with it. Twist it, mock it, share it with someone. I sent it to Lacey. It wasn't cruel. It was clear. I told her I appreciated that she'd been civil over the years, but I was no longer willing to stay in a family that treated me like I was the entertainment. I told her I wasn't going to pretend anymore. That I wasn't going to show up for holidays or birthdays or sit quietly when someone publicly insulted me. I said I was done giving gifts, doing favors, or helping financially. And that I was going to take some real space, not to make a point but because I needed to survive this with my self-worth intact. Her response came that same night. "I understand. And I'm sorry." That was it. But I believed her. It was more than I'd ever gotten from my own blood. What I didn't expect was my mom's reaction. She lives in Oregon now, teaches business ethics at a small college. We talk here and there, but she and my dad split when I was 12 and she doesn't get involved much. I called her a few days later thinking maybe she'd say something neutral, maybe even try to keep the peace. Instead she said something that stopped me cold. "Good. I was wondering when you'd finally cut him off." That's when I knew for sure I wasn't Kraz. Why? After I hung up with my mom, I just sat there in my kitchen holding my coffee like it was some kind of anchor. I'd called her expecting, I don't know, maybe one of those gentle guilt trips moms are known for. Something like "He's still your dad" or "Don't be hasty." But all she said was good. No hesitation, no confusion. Just relief. She told me she'd been watching from a distance for years. That's how she put it. Watching. She said she knew if she said anything too soon I'd defend him, maybe even cut her off instead. That stung a little, but she was right. There were times when I convinced myself I was overreacting. I'd replay the things he said and tell myself he didn't mean it like that, that I was just being sensitive. She said she left him because she didn't want Erin and me growing up thinking his version of love was normal. Erin was too young to notice. I wasn't. I asked her why she let him take the lead after the divorce, why he got the house and the school pickups and the Sunday mornings. She didn't dodge the question. Because he threatened to ruin me in court if I pushed for full custody. And because I thought you'd be safer if I didn't fight. It was the kind of quiet bomb you can't unhear. I think I'd spent my whole adult life chasing approval from a man who only ever saw me as a reflection of his own insecurities. Erin fit the image he liked. Perfect, polished, pretty, thin. Me. I was always a little too much of everything and not enough of anything he valued. And when he couldn't fix that, he turned it into a joke. For years. After that call, I started seeing things for what they were. I didn't check my phone as much. I stopped expecting an apology. But the voicemails kept coming. Some guilt-trippy, him sighing, saying he missed me, asking if I was done being emotional. Others were just angry. You don't take back a gift because of a joke, Rebecca. That's not how adults behave. Then he sent a text that said, "You'll regret this one day." That was the last thing he sent before silence. I took it as a gift. I focused on work, on the gym, on myself. I stopped using food as comfort. I stopped following Aaron on any account I hadn't already blocked. I put on real music again while I cooked. I let myself enjoy things without guilt. The weirdest part was how light I felt. Not just physically, though yeah, I was down 18 pounds by then, but mentally, emotionally. I hadn't realized how much energy I'd been spending just trying to survive being his daughter. The anxiety around family dinners. The pressure to show up, be the good sport, laugh at the insults, smile through the comparisons. All of it just gone. Then one afternoon I came home from the gym to find an email waiting in my inbox. The subject line was exactly what I expected. "Let's talk." It was short. Like he was writing to a coworker about a missed meeting. "Rebecca, you've made your point. I'd like to sit down and talk this through like adults. This behavior has gone on long enough. Let me know when you're free. Dad." No apology. No self-awareness. Just a man who couldn't believe I'd actually walked away. I didn't respond. I didn't even delete it. I just printed it, folded it twice and slid it into the back of my journal. Right next to the copy of the truck receipt. The next week, Lacey texted me a photo of a grocery receipt. Nothing else. Just a list of items, the total, and a note at the bottom that said, "Declined." 2 hours later, another text. "He tried using your old card. I think you need to cancel it." That's when I realized something. He wasn't trying to fix anything. He was trying to make me come back out of convenience. But I wasn't his safety net anymore. And I was just getting root. I canceled the old card that same night, sitting on my couch with my laptop glowing in the dark. It was one of those backup cards I'd given him years ago, for emergencies only. I hadn't thought about it in forever. I guess a part of me hoped he'd forgotten it existed. Turns out the only thing he forgot was that I wasn't his personal safety net anymore. The transaction Lacey sent me, a grocery run $182.43 declined, wasn't an accident. He tried twice more that day, same total. Like he thought it was just a glitch. Like I'd eventually fix it for him. That was the part that got me, the assumption. The confidence that no matter what he said or did, I'd still clean up after him. But I didn't. I logged in, canceled the card, closed the account and deleted every trace of it from my name. That should have been the end of it. But of course it wasn't. The next morning I woke up to a message from a woman I used to work with, Kelly from my old job. We hadn't talked in almost 2 years. Her message started with, "Hey, I don't know if this is true, but your dad messaged me last night." I scrolled and my stomach dropped. He'd reached out to her and apparently to several other people I knew, saying I was in a bad mental place. That I'd done some strange things, like giving away a car, taking it back and isolating myself from family. He said he was worried I might hurt myself. He even attached a photo of us from 3 years ago at Aaron's engagement dinner. Me heavier, awkwardly smiling, his arm around my shoulder. The caption under it said, "Before she changed." My hands were shaking. It wasn't even anger, it was something colder. Something like disgust. The man who called me an idiot in front of a crowd was now painting himself as the heartbroken father of a mentally unstable daughter. I didn't reply to Kelly. I didn't post anything. I didn't defend myself. I called my lawyer. Dana wasn't a divorce lawyer or anything dramatic like that. She was someone I knew from work, a sharp woman who handled privacy and financial disputes. I told her the whole story. The truck, the insult, the calls, the card, the Facebook messages, all of it. I sent screenshots. She read them and said quietly, "He's trying to build a narrative before you can." By the end of the day she drafted a cease and desist letter. It wasn't nasty, just firm, straightforward. It told him to stop spreading false information about me, to stop contacting anyone I knew, and to stop using my name publicly. 2 days later Lacey texted me. "He got the letter. He's furious. He said you humiliated him again." I didn't reply. I didn't owe her that. The next day Aaron texted me out of nowhere. "You really sent a lawyer after Dad? What's wrong with you?" Then a minute later. "He's in the hospital. Congratulations. Hope you're proud." I froze. I called the hospital. They confirmed he was admitted that morning. High blood pressure, chest pain, stress-related. He'd been released already, it wasn't serious. But he made sure everyone thought it was. That afternoon my notifications blew up again. He'd posted a photo of himself in a hospital gown, hand over his chest for an arm. The caption said, "Sometimes your heart breaks more than your children will ever understand." Hundreds of comments. "Stay strong, you're a good man." "Kids today have no respect." "Praying for your healing." Aaron commented a heart emoji. I stared at the post for so long I didn't even realize I was shaking. I wasn't sad anymore. Just numb. Because I finally saw the pattern clearly. He didn't want reconciliation, he wanted control. He didn't want a daughter, he wanted an audience. That night I talked to my therapist again. I showed her the post. She scrolled in silence, then said something I'll never forget. "You can't win a game you didn't agree to play." That was when I made a decision I didn't tell anyone about. I listed my apartment for rent. I started working remotely full-time. I sold my car, booked a one-way ticket to Arizona, where my mom had just bought a small house with a guest room. She'd offered before half-jokingly. This time I accepted. Before I left, I did one last thing. I sent my dad a message. Just one line. "Please don't contact me again. If you need to reach me, go through my lawyer." No anger. No emotion. Just the truth. An hour later he responded with 3 words. "You'll regret this." But for the first time in my life I didn't leave him. Life in Arizona was quiet in the best way possible. My mom wasn't the hugging, overly emotional type, but she understood how to give space, which was something I hadn't realized I desperately needed until I finally had it. I'd wake up to the sound of her coffee pot, go for early morning walks, cook with her in the evenings. No side comments. No judgment. Just peace. It took less than 2 months for the anxiety to start leaving my body. I stopped checking my phone obsessively. Stopped wondering what my dad was saying about me behind my back. I stopped expecting to be attacked every time a text buzzed. And when I finally hit 154 pounds, I didn't even notice until my jeans, the ones I used to squeeze into, slipped on without a fight. That same week, a box showed up at my mom's front door. No return address. No note on top. Inside was a framed photo of my dad and me from my college graduation. I was 22, he was 50, and we both looked like we were trying to pretend we were close. On the back of the frame there was handwriting. "You'll always be my daughter whether you like it or not." No signature. But I didn't need one. I stared at it for a while. Not out of sentimentality, I just kept thinking he really thinks this is what love is. He thought sending me a photo like that somehow erased everything that came before, would change something. Like I'd feel a sudden rush of guilt and fly home. I wrapped the frame in an old towel, tossed it in a box in the garage and locked it away. A few days later I got the text I'd been waiting for. "He's not doing well. He's barely sleeping. Keeps asking about you. He's still hurting from all of this." Then like clockwork, the real point. "He's behind on the house. Can you at least help with that? He's still your dad." That was from Aaron. I stared at those messages, feeling nothing. Absolutely nothing. I didn't even get angry. I just waited a full day and then replied with 6 words. "If he wants to talk, fine." I didn't hear back. Not right away. But 2 weeks later I was flying to LA for a work event. I didn't tell anyone I was going. Didn't post about it. Just packed a suitcase and booked a hotel near the venue. I wasn't there more than a few hours before I saw him. He was waiting outside the hotel lobby, arms crossed, sunglasses on, like he was playing the role of worried father. I had to laugh. He looked older. Tired. Still trying to hold on to some version of dignity he hadn't earned in years. I walked past him without slowing down and he followed. He didn't yell. Didn't cause a scene. Just walked beside me for a few blocks before finally asking if we could talk. I stopped. He started with the usual, how things had gotten out of hand, how he didn't expect it all to go so far. That he missed me, that he was worried. Said he'd been in and out of urgent care, mostly stress-related. Said Aaron was just trying to protect him. I let him talk. I didn't say a word. Then I asked the one question I'd been holding in for months. "Why did you humiliate me like that in front of everyone when I gave you the truck?" He shrugged. Said something about it being a bad joke. That he didn't think I'd take it that way. That I'd always been a little sensitive. That I should have known it wasn't serious. That's when I realized he still didn't get it. He didn't regret it. He regretted the fallout. He regretted losing the perks. I told him I wasn't sensitive. I was exhausted. I was done being the one who always bent to keep the peace. I told him I hated him for the way he treated me growing up. That he was the reason I didn't look in mirrors for 5 years. That he was the reason I didn't believe I deserved anything better than silence. He opened his mouth to speak and I cut him off. I told him I'd worked hard to rebuild my self-esteem from the ground up. That I wasn't the same girl he mocked, weighed, and measured my whole life. And that if he wanted a relationship with me, he'd have to start with an apology and therapy. And he'd have to do it without expecting a single dollar from me. He didn't respond. He just stood there staring at me like he was seeing me for the first time and didn't like what he saw. I turned and walked away. He didn't follow. Aaron texted me 2 days later. "What did you say to him?" "He's furious." I didn't reply. That was the last real conversation I ever had with my father. Now he only reaches out when he needs something. Always money. Always with a guilt trip first. I tell him the same thing every time. Put it in writing. With terms. He never does. So he gets nothing. It's been a year now. 12 months since I walked away from the man who made me believe I was never enough. Since I looked him in the eye and said the words I never thought I'd say out loud. I hate you. Not out of rage. Out of truth. He still hasn't apologized. Not really. He sent a few vague texts here and there. Things like hope you're doing okay and family's family no matter what. But never I'm sorry. Never I was wrong. He doesn't even know where I live now. After a few months in Arizona with my mom, I found my own place just outside of Sedona. It's small. Simple. I work remotely full-time now and started leading financial wellness workshops at a local community center on weekends. I like it. People listen. No one makes me the joke. Physically, I'm in the best shape of my life. 154 pounds, not because I was chasing some perfect number, but because I finally stopped punishing myself for not being someone else. I don't diet anymore. I don't weigh myself every day. I move, I eat, I rest. I live. Mentally, I've had harder work to do. Therapy helped, but it wasn't magic. Some days I still hear his voice in my head. The little jabs disguised as jokes, the sighs, the silences. But they fade faster now. They don't stick the way they used to. Aaron stopped texting about 6 months ago. Last message was a screenshot of a GoFundMe my dad started. The description said he was recovering from a traumatic family estrangement and struggling to keep his home. He didn't name me, but it was obvious. She added, "Can you help? Just a little?" I didn't answer. Neither did the rest of the world, apparently. The fundraiser sat at $85 for weeks before it quietly disappeared. I think part of him still believes I'll come back. That eventually I'll get tired of holding a grudge. But what he doesn't understand is that this isn't a grudge. It's freedom. My mom asked me recently if I'd ever forgive him. I told her I already have, just not in the way people expect. I've forgiven him enough to stop wishing he was someone else. Enough to stop needing anything from him. Enough to move on. The only thing I regret is how long it took me to see it. How long I spent waiting for approval that was never going to come. But I'm not waiting anymore. If he calls, I let it go to voicemail. If he texts, I forward it to my lawyer. And if he ever shows up at my door, well, I won't open it. Because the truth is, I don't need revenge. I don't need closure. And I don't need a father who only wants me when it benefits him. I have peace now. And he has silence.